Welcome to eDay27. Today is Friday. We are going to be solving equations. These are multi-step equations. They're going to take a lot of work and they're going to take your work being done on paper. So I would grab a piece of paper and have your calculator handy, and we are only going to go to 80%. This first problem we have is set up where we are going to organize it like a proportion. Do you guys remember proportions? Proportions are where you have an equal sign and two fractions, and we cross multiply. So we multiply one direction, which is 1 times z minus 3, and then we multiply the other direction. 2 times 3 is 6. Distributing 1 won't change the problem, so we'll have 1z minus 3 equals 6. Getting z by itself, we are going to add 3 to both sides, and z equals 9. This one, like I said, put it over 1 and set it up as a proportion. It's kind of important to do this problem this way because sometimes in this IXL you'll see a problem where the variable, the z, is on the bottom, and this is the only way to do it. So I would really set it up as a proportion so you're consistent with how to do these. All right, I'm going to write the next problem off to the side, give me some room to work. If our goal is to get j by itself, the first thing we want to do is move the 2. If it's a positive 2, to move it to the other side, I'm going to subtract 2. Now this is something I want you to be very careful on, is we want to drop down this j, this negative j. If it's a negative j, what number is really in front is a negative 1. And then on the other side, 1 minus 2 is negative 1. To undo multiplication, we're going to divide by the same number. So we will get j equals positive 1. Here we have 2 equals 6 over n. This is a perfect example that the only way you're able to do this is by setting up a proportion. And so anytime you see this fraction, I'm just going to say, let's do a proportion. If you multiply one direction, you get 2 times n, which is 2n. And if you multiply the other direction, 1 times 6 is 6. To undo this multiplication, we are going to divide, and you get n equals 3. All right, we're getting a little bit more complicated. Do you see that plus a negative? Plus a negative is really just a minus. You might remember that from yesterday's lesson. And then this negative that's in front is really a negative 1. So I like to have one sign, no double signs, and I like to put in a 1 in front of that or behind that negative sign. First thing we're going to do is distribute. So we have negative 1 times f is negative 1f. Be careful when you multiply. A negative times a negative is a positive, so we have positive 1 plus 4 equals 2. When you're on the same side of the equal sign, you do as the sign says. You're going to combine like terms. So we have negative 1f, and you don't do opposite because they're on the same side of the equal sign. 1 plus 4 is 5. Now when you move to the other side of the equal sign, that's when you do opposite operations. So if this says plus 5, now we are going to minus it to the other side. So negative 1f, those will cancel. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. To get the f by itself, we're going to undo that multiplication by dividing by negative 1. So f equals positive 3. So this is definitely a harder problem. There's a lot going on with it. They do have some hard ones in this IXL. If you are getting stuck, I just really suggest that you hop on Zoom and we'll work with you. You share your IXL screen and we'll do the problem right along with you. When I rewrite this problem, I'm going to choose to rewrite this minus a negative. Do you remember from yesterday's lesson? Minus a negative is really plus a positive. So we really just have a positive 5. So now looking at what we have, some people are going to choose to add 5 to the other side right away. That's totally fine. That works. I'm going to go ahead and just distribute first. So we have 4G. 4 times 18, what is that? 72 plus 5 equals 5. Now, when you're on the same side of the equal sign, we do what's called combine like terms. They get put together as you see them. So 4G, 72 plus 5 is 77. Now, if we're moving to the other side, this is where we do our inverse operation. So if it says plus 77, we are going to subtract 77. And we have 4G equals negative 72. And then to undo that multiplication, we are going to divide by 4. And then G equals negative 18. So in this problem, get rid of any double signs. Distribute. When you are on the same side of the equal sign, it's called combine like terms, and you do as the sign says. Anytime you go across that equal sign, you do what's called inverse or opposite operations. For this IXL, we're only going to go to 80%. If you have problems or just want to do it with us, we're very happy to help. It makes it fun for us to connect with you during the day. So we'd be happy to Zoom with you at any time. Have a great day.